Last we left off, it was the morning of the Gala of First Snow as you all awoke in the city of Karden. The morning and afternoon passed swiftly as you gathered your previously purchased gear and then made your way through the river ward towards the gilded stage, and you were not alone in this procession. Luxurious carriage after luxurious carriage passed you en route to the college grounds and the festivities within. Upon arrival, you were whisked away by the young assistants to Mistress Savine, briefly passing the cocktail hour in Carvel Hall, glittering with the gilded upper crust of the capital city, before finding yourselves in the hall's backstage. Before long, your first stage of presentation was done, and you were given time to enjoy the cocktail hour yourselves, rub elbows with the aforementioned aristocracy. Amongst the crowd, you spied your competition. You met with some of the other designers, overheard discontent over some of the seemingly pointed selections to be read tonight, and found yourselves mere feet from the king and queen themselves. To Augustus's trained eye and ear, the McCarran seemed to be supporters of the artistic scene in Karden, were happily holding court within the heart of the hall. Meanwhile, Professor Eldros and prized starlet Lola Snicket were flitting between the groups with practiced ease and charm, though something seemed subtly off. When they departed the event, Enid and Augustus followed. Notably, they did not head to the same spot, and you elected to pursue Eldros and found him in his office. Quickly, Enid summoned Tootsuite, sent the squirrel inside to spy. Through the familiar's eyes, you watched as Eldros went through the process of a ritual of some kind, seemingly offering Lola up to an entity of wither and bloom. When you regrouped, you discussed what you'd seen and heard, but before any solutions could be found, time came for the show to begin, and you made your way to the wings of the stage to watch the headmaster's address. Following the opening words and backstage departure of Headmaster Eldros, Augustus moved to follow him once more, and in his pursuit suddenly felt a powerful supernatural presence. Enid, following after her brother, also felt this unnatural presence, though slightly different, something more akin to a dream or memory that she couldn't place. As the pair reeled from their experience, you caught sight of the door that you'd stopped before, the dressing room of Lola Snicket. Sensing something amiss, DeCrane and Andy hurried beside them, and you burst into the dressing room. Within, beyond the standard fare of a dressing room, you see Lola, but before her, you see an otherworldly presence. Its body leaning through reality and space, like coming out of a shattered mirror, and the fragments altering the reality, warping the interior of the room. A bark-covered feminine form with a tall, spiraling crown. Though bark-like, the texture is cracked and white, like ash-covered charcoal. Despite the ashen appearance, her face is an immaculate porcelain mask with bright crimson lips and cheeks. Lola is staring up into the face of the entity. Her hands are bound by red ribbon and thread, raised in praise to the presence before her. As you burst in, the entity's face wheeled in your direction and unleashed a wailing shriek that upends the room and thrusts you back, slamming the door shut as you are thrown into it. As you reel from this impact and begin to pull yourselves up, you see Lola mid-trance uttering her words, your tongue, a grim duet. Seemingly unaware of this turn of events. As we begin, we will need you all to roll initiative.
No, we don't have to do that.
Oh, scary.
We don't have to do that. Fuck.
We are not going to beat this lady, so it's just initiative to not die. Oh, no. Bad. Oh, wow.
So, as you guys are picking yourselves up off the floor as we begin this, you technically are starting prone. We are not going to go to a map. We're going to do this theater of the mind style. The room is not particularly large. It's a dressing room. There's not a ton of room for maneuverability in here. It's maybe 15 feet wide and maybe 15 feet deep, maybe 20 feet. It's a little bit longer than it is wide. There's kind of an array of, desks and table and chairs and things that have all been kind of thrust out of the middle of the room to the edges at this point after this kind of like eruption. But in the center still stands Lola, and this presence, not quite in the room, not quite out of the room, not quite here, not quite there, would be directly before her, 10 to 15 feet from you. Augustus, you have initiative over this entity. What do you do?
Why do I have to go first?
I will also preface to give you some more time to vamp and think.
Yep.
At this point, before even initiative rolls, before we get into it, or as initiative rolls through, I think I'll preface. feel free to ask other questions and clarifications. This is kind of an interesting situation. You're thrown right into combat. You don't need to fight instantly.
Definitely.
Initiative is just the best way to run through
Yep.
literally the order of operations. So if you want clarifications out of turn, that's fine. We can talk out all these kind of things. So feel free to ask any questions that you want, and I'll give you the best answer I can, and maybe have you roll for it out of turn. That's fine. We'll see.
We could just get this out of the way. I'll pick myself up from prone, use half my movement, pick myself up from prone. I think instinctually I'll summon Ray with the wildfire spirit. Just have her burst out. Not in a like combative way, but just in like a protective, like Halo-esque circling as she feels danger. But then could I get clarification on where is the face in relation to this woman, her floating? Like, how menacing does it look like her over her?
The NC over Lola?
Yeah.
So Lola is standing somewhat, like, eyes are open, but almost like doesn't even seem to be fully looking at, just kind of glazed, staring into like the ether. Looking up, hands kind of bound and kind of proffered before her, reaching up towards this face. And the entity is kind of leaning, like I said, through this like shattered glass almost feeling. And she is from mid torso, maybe to the waist to head, probably about 6 feet. So at full height, you imagine that she's possibly like 10 feet tall, give or take. And so she's leaning. There's a definite like overbearing. Her arms are kind of extended over. You can see some like thread and things dangling from like hooked, like threatening clawed fingers. There's a definite kind of evil, dark presence to the entity, but she is within reach of Lola.
Follow-up question, and this could be my turn here to do this. Nettie and I have been haunted by this rhyme, this continuing thing. Now this seems so. This is it. This is perhaps Red Marion. All the threads are here. Like, what am I feeling anything from seeing that? I don't know if that's an insight check. Does it jog anything in my memory? Does anything come to mind as I just like take in this wild scene?
Yes. So, I would like an insight check from. Just roll an insight check. We'll start there.
Sure.
From both of us, or just Augie?
Just Augie for now.
Okay.
And there's a specific reason for that, but go ahead.
24.
Okay, great. Your instinct is to summon Ray to your side, protective or threatening or whatever, like ready to go, ready to utilize the wildfire spirit that you have bound to. As you do, and she begins that kind of process, it all happens so quickly, and there's such like a practice, like innate, like barely having to like think about what you're doing when you summon her. However the process is, like incantation, like, somatic elements, it just happens. Like you're just so innately and in tune with this entity, with the spirit. Your insight is less internal, but you see and feel a powerful fear emanating from Ray. She doesn't want to move close to this thing, and though is hovering over you, is decidedly behind you. There is a fear being felt, and her light is dim. Like she is trying to shrink behind you, and you feel a palpable fear to the point of she doesn't feel warm. She feels cold.
I think
so that
last thing,
sinking feeling sets.
last thing then with my turn is I would like mouth kind of stammering open for a bit, say like, stay away from her. And that's it.
I will ask you to make a wisdom saving throw at the end of your turn.
You got it. Not great. 12.
Okay. You go through the motions of instinct, summon Ray, and that's like your action, effectively. You've got 15 feet of movement. There's a moment where you are trying to put that bravado on, trying to say, don't go closer and try to protect this woman, this actress. And maybe it's partially Ray's reaction, but really you sense a dread inside of you in the presence of this creature. And there's almost a sense memory similar to what Enid has experienced in the past, though it doesn't come through fully like visually. It comes through emotionally. It comes through through audio, and you hear the crackle and burn of wood. You hear shrieks of pain and hammered feet on moss and ground, cracking twigs. Very subtly, like underneath and inexplicably, and you are considered frightened.
Eesh. Okay.
And unfortunately, that is going to end your turn as you stare at this figure with... It's not a vision, it is a broken memory is the best way you can put it together. As you deal with that, and she's finished this kind of turn to you, wail and shriek, she's looking and her head twists and turns unnaturally, looks back down at Lola, and Lola is still kind of in this placated, continuing to speak what you do recognize as the poem, The Crimson Strings. I will also point out that you recognize she is nearing the end of the poem. She's on about the third last line. As you know the poem very well, the two of you, and I think Andy would be very quick to pick up the poem, and DeCrane, you've certainly heard it as well. The entity before you takes her turn now, and looks back to Lola, and you hear her utter something that only two of you understand, who speak Sylvan. In Sylvan, she says, Finish it. You can do it. And looks back at the rest of you. I'll take it. And you watch as she utters something under her breath. You hear incantation, and you watch her hand extend, the fingers extend, and from them you see traces of kind of red and thread and energy, as all around you, you feel the four of you suddenly thread and ribbon and rope, crimson in nature, wraps its way around your legs, your arms, and winds its way around, choking your neck. I need each of you to make strength saving throws for me.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We're all doing it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually rolled well.
5.
A 5 is a failure.
Strength.
13?
13 is a failure.
I already know the answer. 6 total.
That's a failure.
But the strongest member of our party?
30-20.
A dirty 20 is a success.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't have any of my shit, guys. I don't know how useful I am.
These threads and ribbons and elements, like not necessarily even coming from her, but from the rest of the room, taking control, wrapping themselves around you, binding you. Each of you who failed are restrained, and you feel obviously your hands and feet are kind of pulled together, and you're held down, tightened down, restrained. But more worryingly, the wrapping around your neck is squeezing the life out of you. For each of you who are restrained, you are suffocating. You are currently suffocating and will survive for a number of rounds equal to 1 plus your Constitution modifier before you fall unconscious without being able to breathe. That is her turn. She's going to hold her position, obviously, and has ensured that Lola will be able to continue. Enid, we come to your turn. What is your Constitution modifier? We'll start there.
My con modifier is where'd it go? 14?
So you can survive for 2 more rounds.
Yay!
At the top of your round, obviously, you are suffocating, you are restrained. What do you do? Do you have any questions to clarify before, as you are in the presence of this creature as well?
Ray is immune, by the way, to restrained and frightened and charmed and grappled and prone.
Oh, that's good.
That is good.
And can I talk or anything while I'm restrained, or no?
You cannot talk. You'd have to break free of the restraint.
Can I do that then and try?
You can absolutely use your action to attempt to break free. You are free to make either a strength or dexterity check. Either to kind of wriggle your way out dexterity or to literally fucking break it by strength. I assume you're going to go dexterity.
Yeah.
It's a straight check, so it's just d20 plus your modifier, not your saving throw.
Oh, are you kidding me? 7.
Struggling to kind of get enough room to kind of wiggle and shift yourself free. You're also finding that the actual rope and thread is like working out against you. It's not just in sitting statically after positioning itself. It is continuing to tighten and wind and work against you as you're trying to pull it, kind of like a living tentacle organism feel. And unfortunately, you feel as you struggle more, it tightens more, and that last kind of element of air that you had is
Oh no.
and unfortunately, already the kind of darkness at the edges of your vision is kind of flickering and closing in as rapidly. You just didn't have your breath ready. You're after hitting the wall, knocked out of you, and instantly, essentially, within the first couple seconds here, choked. You do have a bonus action. That was your action to that, but you still have a bonus action if you have anything to try there.
Where is Toot Sweet, by the way, at this point?
It's still in the headmaster's office, as far as I'm aware.
That's all right.
Yeah. Oh dear. Would he be able to sense I'm in trouble? / come get us? / free?
There is a 1 mile telepathic connection, if I'm remembering correctly. You're certainly within that. So what I will definitely allow is a telepathic emotional response of like, I'm dying. Tutui, need you. To which he will do his damnedest to make it to you.
Okay.
But I will preface that he's a long ways off.
Okay.
He's certainly not 6 seconds away.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I can't. I guess I'm restrained. I can't really do anything else as a bonus action.
You don't have any bonus action spells or like
No.
bonus action teleport?
Like a
Misty Step? But does it have a vocal component? Oh fuck.
If it's a verbal component, it'll get shut down.
Oh, poo. Yeah. Nope. That's all I have.
Shit.
Unfortunately, Enid, as that is going to end your turn, in the moments of like kicking the door in, stumbling down, obviously as you kind of kicked it like full bunny hop kick, fall in, and then instantly kind of wrapped up and choked, you finally kind of get a full moment to like take in this experience. And I will ask for a wisdom saving throw from you.
Okay.
Come on, Nettie.
Please. Come on. 16.
16. You are again like in the same sense memory that you've had before. You sense and feel the presence of fire in the room. You feel suddenly burning. And as that vision starts to kind of flicker at the edges, it starts to darken at the edges, I should say, your vision starts to flicker back and forth between present and something else. You see the room, and then it changes to a massive burning forest. You see shifting enemies in the dark. You see forces moving in shadow and flame in a place that you don't recognize, but a place otherworldly. It's not just a forest in the forest that you know. It is a forest of wonder and magic that is burning and dying before you. You feel this like pit in your stomach. It flickers back to the room before you. It flickers again, and there's an entity before you that is stalking close to you, framed by the shadow, and you feel not only a sense of loss, a sense of fear and failure, but a profound betrayal. And it just kind of is over the 6 seconds of your processing this, just this flickering moments, flashes, bits and pieces. as that is your round.
It's a really tough
Cool.
round.
Cool.
Decran, we come to you. What is your Constitution modifier?
My con modifier +1.
So you've got 2 rounds. Sorry, yeah. So that should be Enid's Constitution was 2 + 1. So you've got 2 more rounds. It'd be 3. So Decran has 2 rounds here of oxygen left. However, you don't necessarily need to breathe. So unconsciousness is not necessarily on the table for you. You are still nonetheless restrained and being like choked, which is causing almost more of like a bludgeoning like pain than it is actually like leading to a suffocation. Though you're still restrained, so like you're still fighting against it. And I will remind you and the whole team that obviously you guys are not in a combat scenario. You weren't coming here with a combat scenario. Armor and weaponry is unavailable to you. Obviously, you were coming here. Decran, you're in a no shirt, like long jacket situation with like all kinds of accoutrement. Your hair, well, your hair is for your hair, but you're all makeuped up and done up. You guys are not ready for full combat. So, with that in mind, you start your turn restrained. What do you do?
You're asking me, right?
You're up.
I can. So one thing I can think of doing is maybe energy drain.
Sure.
Interesting.
I do have that as an attack. I'll just double check my
It's a
attack.
touch,
here.
though, isn't it?
Energy drain, melee attack.
Are you hoping to like drain the like thread and the rope that is surrounding you? Because you are not within touch range of anyone but your fellows.
I was hoping I could take it from the air. I didn't have to touch them.
Unfortunately, this specific, like you have like your natural, like how you feed is off of energy, which is kind of ambient. But in this specific like targeted attack, it is a touch or a bite situation.
Okay, one thing can I do is can I grab the rope and start doing like these like sort of like acrobatics to get out of it, like where I'm like jumping, like and like turning and somersaults and everything.
Yes, you can. Please make a dexterity check for me.
Okay, don't know if my dex is good, but let's try this out.
This is good.
Come on, buddy boy.
You're the most dexterous of the group.
I
Excellent.
rolled. Let me just check. So my dex is +4, and I rolled a 6.
Man, 10 is not going to do it, unfortunately. You are doing the maneuvers, and obviously it is trying to tighten against you, but without the worry of suffocation, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, it still hurts, but it's not actually causing enough damage to be like bringing you down. But you are thrashing and fighting against, trying to like dodge and weave and pull yourself free, doing flips and maneuvers. But it is not budging, and unfortunately, you are not able to get like enough movement to get any further than the space you are in. And that will cost your action, unfortunately. You do have a bonus if you have a bonus action that you want to throw out.
Bonus. Do I have anything? Oh, nothing really yet. No.
Okay. You thrash and fight. As your turn comes to an end, you have no additional revelations of this creature other than they are incredibly different than that which you have faced. And the one thing you can sense innately based on your ability, how you feed on power, powerful. Andy, we come to you.
Okay, I have a couple clarifying questions. One, is the door still open behind us?
No, you hit it and it slammed shut behind you.
I will stand up. Let's start there.
You're unrestrained, you can do so.
Okay, this is a really small room.
Yes.
Would going and like getting the door open, but it's probably closed by like we're all in front of it. Okay. Rules clarification. I do not have my focus. From a very quick search, focus replaces material components.
Mhm.
So if I have a spell that does not have any material components, that's unaffected, correct?
As far as I know, yeah.
Great. Which of the bunnies is in worse shape right now?
Nobody's taken damage, but they
Yeah.
are both being suffocated.
Yeah.
I would say it looks like Augustus is clearly scared, clearly more frightened. Enid is having her own kind of experience that is a little different. But I think it's kind of hard to gauge who is worse in the situation.
Okay. No offense to Augustus, but Enid to me seems a little tougher, so I'm going to deal with him first.
Rude.
I am going to cast one of my only spells that does not have a material component. I'm going to cast Vortex Warp.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull Augustus to an unoccupied space in the room. That's ideally
Augustus
on our
or
side.
Enid?
Augustus.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought you were going the other way around with where you were going with who you were trying to get out of there, but I see what you're saying now.
A little bit.
The one who looks like they might get suffocated first.
I got plenty.
Okay. Augustus, you are, instantaneously, like the portal opens. Obviously, Andy, you are free to determine this however you like, but I imagine it like kind of underneath and just pulls him free of the rope by bringing him down and whoop, pops him up on the other side of the room.
You get to see a cool other layer of reality, because I don't think you've had this spell yet.
No, it has never happened to me before, so that was insane.
There is almost like as you drop into the space and in the mid-second between, the room is laid out exactly as you cross through the boundary, but you just see the outlines of it, almost like a find edges filter, where you see the edges of the room in a line of starlight in a constellation, like kind of outline of each item and each thing in the room, and each person giving off their own kind of constellation and light before popping back into the room proper. Other side of the room. Free, unbound. Still frightened.
Yeah. I have something to fix that, but not with one action. I don't have bonus actions.
Are you gonna
there's not a lot of other places to go, from what I understand.
It's more of like, are you going to try and get closer to Lola, get closer to the entity, or to one of your friends? Like, obviously you're easily within touch of Decrane or Enid. Now you're far from Augustus.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay where I am.
Okay, that's fine. And that's the end of your turn. At the end of your turn, Augustus on the other side of the room, and Andy, Decrane, and Enid, you guys are focused on the ropes and things. Andy now trying to figure out what's happening in the room. Augustus realizing you're now on the other side of it. Lola continues her performance. Tug of her string, swift crimson springs. The penultimate line of the poem. And that is ending Lola's action. Augustus, it's your turn.
Don't say the words. How close together are my friends grouped?
Within touch of each other.
Okay. I guess the question would be, did Andy Vortex Warp Ray as well? Or is
No,
Ray
it's a single target. Ray would still be within touch of everyone as well.
Okay, so with Ray's action, let me pull her up. I'd like to use Fiery Teleport on my friends. If they're within 5 feet of her, you could tell me whether that's possible. Yeah?
She might have to move 5 feet, but yeah.
So I'm like, Ray, save them. And she'll float, Fiery Teleport them out of these threads. Maybe just have them appear like 5 feet back from where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Then what the fuck?
You watch as the Fiery Teleport pulls everyone free, moving you can't really quite move back, you're up against the wall, but you move to the side ever so slightly. The ropes and threads and ribbons that were winding their way around you just burst in flame and are left to cinders and ash behind Ray's move. As the Decrane and Enid, you're still kind of prone in this moment. Andy just moves ever so slightly, still standing. That costs your bonus for her to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually
your action.
Just want to make sure everything's above board here. Action to summon, Fiery Teleport. Yeah, it's just an action for her. So I think to command her to do that's a bonus. Okay, so now it's me. I don't want her to finish that line. I need to somehow stop her. Okay, question for you. If I was to try and move towards Lola, I likely couldn't because the figure's near her, right? And I'm
That's
frightened.
correct.
Okay. I don't really want to shoot Lola. You tell me if this is insane. It's so dumb. Lola looks like she's wrapped up in the threads, right?
It seems like it's at least wrapped around her hands and wrists. It's not like in the same way it's restraining or doing anything to the rest of you, but there's like a wrapping, a winding around the arms.
Did I just imagine this in my head that she's levitating horizontal like Ghostbusters?
Lola? No, she's standing.
I really picture her levitating and like the threads are over her like that.
No, she is like standing up, looking up at the entity, hands kind of out like this, almost like pleading the case.
Hate it a lot. Then I'm going to use the decanter of endless water because I can't fire her, and I'm going to try and shoot a gallon at Lola's face to try and wake her up and push her away.
Okay, cool. I like it. So this is how I'm going to adjudicate that, because you are frightened.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask for a single ability check. Is it disadvantage because you're frightened, to basically aim accordingly. So it's going to be a straight dexterity check.
Okay.
But it's only because to like shoot a geyser is what you're trying to do, right? Is like what's the effect of the?
Yeah, it'll like push her. It's like the most powerful version of that.
So there's like a saving throw against it, right?
Yeah, DC 13 strength for her, or she'll take 1d4 bludgeoning and fall prone. Okay.
So here's what I'm gonna say. This will work. This will stop. She can't save in the state that she's in. She will fail automatically in this kind of trance element that she's going through. She's not going to physically move. So you're going to hit, but you got to hit. Yeah. So it's a straight dexterity check at disadvantage versus her AC. At this point, her AC is a 13.
So just roll dex. I have dex 2.
At disadvantage.
Okay. Okay, first roll. First roll, that one.
Okay.
But just so you know, my second roll would have been 4.
Okay, great.
Scott.
Shaky paws taking out this stupid water bottle. Never used it before.
Go ahead and roll me a d6.
Okay.
Nope. A d4.
D4, who am I going to soak? Which one are you?
Yep.
3.
1, 2, 3. Andy, you get a face full of water as you move Augustus across the room, and as he does, you see him fumble. You're hoping he's going to do something, and you watch as and you get blasted in the face. Make a strength saving throw.
DC 13. You were maybe muted for that.
Natural 17.
Nice.
You do get blasted in the face, but have the wherewithal to see it coming, hit, and then duck and not get pushed in any way. But your makeup is destroyed for the performance to come.
Fuck. Oh no.
Your attire is pretty soaked. We'll see how this plays.
We got some spells for that, guys. It's okay.
God, I hope you can live for that disappointment. Kyle, could I shoot off a "Don't let her finish the song" as my ending turn? Okay.
Yeah, you are able to yell that out as you fire this off.
It's just super soaking
your own party with a fire hose. And we'll see how the rest of this plays. Augustus, that is your turn. You can't move closer. You can't move further back. You're stuck in place.
Yep.
Would you? Last thing. Would you move Ray beyond around the other cluster? She would still have like 30 feet of move or 20 feet of move.
Interesting. No, I don't think I would have thought of it. I think she'll probably be floating around Nettie. Just like you teleported Nettie back and it's just chilling there.
You got it. End of Gus's turn. That brings us to the entity's second turn. You are now all free of this effect, which is good for you. Changes tactics. You watch as she watches this kind of mismatch of things happen, but you all instantaneously get out of her like a big maneuver that could have ended this whole party within 10, 15 seconds, like pretty quickly. There's no look of surprise. She doesn't have a normal face, but there is a kind of like quick head back and forth before a kind of rising, determined, and her hands extend out with a finger pointed at each of you as she summons a wave of magic that kind of visualizes in a single pointed like needle firing towards each of you, headed towards the temples, or at least within the head.
Jesus.
I need all of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Yikes.
This is definitely psychic.
Oh, I rolled the wrong one. This shouldn't count. Let me roll it again. Even though it's really good. Oh, great. Even better. Honesty worked.
It does
I got
have,
20.
okay. It does have a charmed condition element. So if you have any particular elements that saves you or gives you advantage on charm effects, this technically is included within that. 20 from Enid is a success.
That 20 from me. 28.
That's a big success.
20 total for me.
20 total. Okay, Andy.
I did not roll as good, guys. I rolled like a 14 total.
Any interest in using your portent?
I don't know, man. I guess I saw her do an action. I'm always weird when it's like what I'm assuming is.
Do you remember what they are?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You have them rolled, so I just wanted to.
I know. Oh, fuck me. This looks really bad, and we could all die. Okay, I'll use my portent.
I think it's smart.
It was a 19. The portent was a 19 plus 2 for wisdom save.
All 4 succeed on a DC 19 wisdom saving throw against a very powerful mind-wiping, modify memory spell that would have made you forget this entire event ever happened.
Wow.
Had major ramifications. You all managed to, in your various ways, protect yourself, shattering the incoming kind of spell and needle, dodging out of the way with supreme speed, incinerating it with wildfire and frustration and anger. And the spell has no effect. And you do watch the Red Lady, Marion, recoil in disbelief. And that ends your turn.
Wow.
Look, we're all as shocked as you, lady, okay?
We don't even have a party name, lady.
You would have forgot one if you had it.
That would have been really funny.
Enid, it's your turn.
Oof. What can I do?
You are not
We do need
suffocating.
to
You
get
are
the
not
fuck
restrained.
Yeah.
Out of here?
Yeah.
We need to physically leave. I don't know how complicated that's going to get.
She's about to finish her. She just said the second last line, so she says the last line.
End of this round. You each have one action, except Augustus, left before she will finish speaking the Crimson Strings as you know it.
Little Lola.
I guess as we are leaving, hold on. Am I gonna screw things up if I do this? Hold on. I don't wanna make things worse.
You can talk out your strategy unless Kyle
Yeah,
doesn't want
okay,
you to.
so hear me out. What if I do like Hall of Thorns?
Hail of Thorns?
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to kill this girl.
Not kill her.
I don't know how
just,
many
like,
hit points she has.
just like stop her from finishing the song, like kind of like right? And then we bamf.
Could you can you not what's that word?
Not with a magic like that. You can non-lethally attack someone, but not with a hail of thorns.
You know, with Hail of Thorns,
No.
it's a little
That's
too
a
intense.
pretty lethal element.
Yeah.
Literally called a hail of thorns.
Maybe you shoot an arrow off her head. Maybe not.
She doesn't have her bow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have
That's why I said I only have spells right now.
Well, you'd also, for that, you'd still need to throw a projectile, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is there shit in
Yeah.
the room? Could you huck something at her?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
is
mean,
there, like, a
on the
chandelier or
makeup
something?
table, no chandelier, but there's broken glass shards from mirrors that has been broken. She's got all kinds of like makeup implements and hairbrushes and stuff and like elements on the makeup table. You do see, you have high perception, so I'm going to give you a little bit more of what you're seeing in the room, looking frantically for elements here. You see beside her on the other side, actually between her and Augustus, there is a small table with a big gift basket full of flowers, and you see little bottles of things. There's makeup and moisturizers and perfumes, some chocolates that have been scattered. However, on the floor, almost directly in front of her, you see a red velvet box that's open and a long kind of elegant needle is on the floor in front of her. That is like 6-7 inches long. Like it's not your standard kind of needle. And then there's just kind of like random like elements of wood and table and chair and elements you could throw as a bludgeoning kind of improvised element. But that's what you see.
Can I like slide and swipe and get the needle?
Absolutely. It'll put you within melee of the Red Lady and Lola, but you could do it.
We saw a needle like that in Eldros's office, like both of us. Or
Yeah.
you did, actually. You just described it to me, but you saw it through. Yeah.
Should I grab it? What do you think?
By the way, what are you going to do with it?
And what do you want
What's
to
your
do?
plan? There's also like, are these ribbons like magical fake ribbons, Kyle? Or are they like literal physical ribbons that could be in theory severed?
The ones that are around Lola's hands and wrists, you're not sure.
Sure.
The ones that came to attack all of you felt very real
Yeah.
and tangible, but were clearly magical in how they were brought, and then were burnt away in a magical fire. You're not sure these ones specifically.
I mean, Al, you could try and grab it. I don't know if you could like break a needle. You can always like try and kick her. You can always try and punch her, like
I was gonna
non-lethally.
say, like, if there was like powders or anything on the table, I could like kick up like a dust storm to like
Can you
clog
get
the
like
throat or something?
get a breakaway vase and just
Yeah.
smash her over the bottom?
Yeah,
I like
These are
like all these.
absolutely possible.
yeah.
There's powdered makeup on the table within reach. You could just fucking clock her. That's an absolutely applicable option. Anyone can just hit anyone. You can get to the needle. You have the space and the maneuver to do it. The only thing that I will add as a caveat is that does put you directly in melee with the Red Lady.
Okay.
Take that for what you will.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing? I don't know. You're not sure. There is a vase. You're not sure if it's breakaway or if it's.
Yeah, because it could be one of those ones where I go to ding it and it just bounces off of her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I take the chairs? Are they wooden or do they have like metal portions to them?
Oh my god, are you gonna like
Wrestling.
are you gonna
Just on the
WWE?
chair.
Very Enid.
Enid from the top rope.
Okay, I will attempt with my like bunny hop to get extra lift from behind. I don't want to get her from her front because I don't want her to see me. Kind of clock her with the chair.
This is going to be an improvised, like, make a strength-based attack with an improvised weapon. So, as far as I'm remembering this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's proficiency plus your strength modifier, d20 plus proficiency plus strength modifier. So, whatever that comes out to, go ahead and roll a d20. You have advantage on the attack roll
Okay.
against an AC of 13.
Would it be like, do you have a proficiency in improvised weapons? Is that what it would be?
I don't know how. I don't know if anyone has
My-
improvised weapons or not, but
My proficiency is +3.
okay. So an improvised weapon is an object wielded as a makeshift weapon, such as broken glass, a table leg, a frying pan, or a chair. In this case, a simple or martial weapon also counts as improvised if you use range. But an improvised weapon falls equal proficiency. Don't add proficiency bonus to attacks with improvised weaponry. On a hit, it deals 1d4, bludgeoning in this case. You can throw it as far as you can throw that item, and it would be considered a simple weapon. So, sorry, just straight strength modifier, but you have advantage on the throw. So, d20 times 2 plus your strength.
Okay, here's the first one. 13.
That would hit.
Second one is 1. Oh no, 7. And then my strength is
Isn't it +2?
+1.
+1.
+1.
AC of 13 of 14 hits. Go ahead and roll a d4.
Okay.
Really wanted a nat 20 there, just for
I
Enid to
know.
clonk her.
2.
a 2 points of damage. In this instance, the way this is being played is a concentration check.
Mhm.
So a DC 10 concentration or a Constitution saving throw by Lola will be rolled here. Obviously looking for a DC 10 success for my side. You guys want less than that. She does have a... Oh, that's not the right character sheet. She does have a modifier of 2.
Damn it.
See what happens.
1.
Come on, Lola.
That is a natural 18.
No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. Wait, no, have I used it this round? Yes, I have.
You used your
Have you
reaction
switched
to
round?
save yourself.
Never mind.
No.
It's okay. Good thinking.
Oh,
Your
fuck
turn
me.
will come
This is like the longest.
before the end of this round, so you will refresh your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, you do bring the chair down on Lola. It does clobber the back of her head. However, it's a breakaway chair. Who would have thought? And the chair doesn't quite deal quite as much damage as you were hoping. It breaks away, and she is a practiced professional. She continues through the act no matter what. Unfortunately, she continues, and you see her like stumble, but rights herself so quickly and doesn't react to you at all. Just get right back to position she was, and is about to utter the next line. Enid, that would be your full turn with the jump, with the movement, and with hitting her with a chair.
That's okay.
DeCrane, we come to you, Andy, on deck.
I'm gonna try. Just be clear, I have nothing on me, right? Weapons wise.
Nothing weapons-wise, and actually not
Also,
much
there's like busted
on you,
glass
just
and
period.
stuff in the room. There's like other things in the room. We have to think of like ways to
I'm
break.
pretty generous with what'll be in this room. Imagine things you would find in the dressing room. It's probably here.
Okay, so I'm assuming I might find scissors.
Yep.
So do I have to investigate for scissors, or do I? What's the situation?
No, I'll give it to you. There's scissors on the table. You can see them on the desktop, within 5 feet, 10 feet of you.
So I'm gonna grab them, and I'm gonna hack at that rope.
The rope that's around her wrists.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll. This will be using your dexterity. In this case, almost treating it like a dagger.
Okay.
So it's still improvised, so it's not with proficiency. So it's just your straight d20 plus your +4, but you have advantage on attacks against her because she's in this like trance state.
First roll is a 3 for the listener.
A 4.
Oh my god!
What's happening?
Terrible.
So, DeCrane, you rush up, you see the scissors, you grab the scissors, and you jump up and stab through and connect through, like with the scissors, into the kind of the ribbon. But you're just hitting ribbon, right? So it just hits through the ribbon and it just kind of pulls it a little off of her hand. It slips, but there's still some thread. There's still other elements. It doesn't seem to have any further effect. I will give you 2 attacks. You have 2 attacks. That was 1 attack. The only reason I didn't do so with Allie was because there was a whole jump with a chair. This is more of a practice thing that DeCrane, like moving quickly with a dagger-like implement, makes sense to me. So a second attack does fit here if you want to try something else.
Okay, so scissors didn't work. How about...
I mean, you could try the scissors again, is what Kyle's saying.
I can't
You
try
have
it.
to be attacked.
You can try the scissors again. You didn't throw them or anything. They're still in your hand. It just didn't work against the ribbon. But you can also just try a different attack. You can try and just fucking karate chop. You can try and hit. You can try and use a different item that you'd see in the room. But you can also use scissors that are in hand.
So I'm assuming that hair dryers don't exist in this time.
You would assume
But-
correct.
Maybe torches exist as a result instead. So maybe they use torches to dry their hair. So maybe a torch I grab.
I'll give you that there is like a torch on the wall for sure.
Maybe not for hair drying, but
Probably more for lighting in the room. But nonetheless, you are able to kind of reach over, grab, and what are you trying to do with said torch?
Oh, same stuff. Same
Just try
stuff.
and burn the rope.
blocker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just stick it in there.
It says Dyson on the side of the torch.
I'll give you.
It's inexplicably $500.
I'll give you that you can do that. Like, there's no real check to be made. She's basically an immoving person. You're hitting ribbon with a torch. It goes up in flame. the ribbon catches, and the thread that's all wrapped around her wrists begins to catch. This is on fire on her wrists and her hands right now. She will be burning within the next round. As a result, I will give another concentration check because she's feeling flame burning her wrists. And at her turn, she will take a D4 fire damage. But I will give it to the concentration check now to see how she reacts.
You set her on fire.
That is nearly a fail, but it is not with a 9 naturally +2.
Oh man, she's good. She is a performer, guys. Best in her class.
You're accentuating. She's the star. She's the lead of the leads. She's able to pull through. You did set this on fire, so she will take that damage on her turn. You can go ahead and roll a d4 if you like now, and I'll apply it when it comes to her turn. But declaring that is going to be basically your full series of maneuvers. You're free to say anything if you want. Otherwise, we'll go to Andy.
I'm thinking this is not Hondo, so it won't be as
Not as clever.
Not as sexually charged.
Hondo would be like, "You like bondage."
Few less puns.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't feel good to burn.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That'll end Decrane's turn. Andy, come to you.
Okay.
Wipe away dripping makeup,
Lots of
mascara that is all in your eyes.
Okay, there we go. Actually, that kind of works. Thinking of realizing, oh fuck, I just have a bunch of makeup dripping on my face. I'm gonna look over to when Decrane went and grabbed the scissors. You said there was like full makeup, including like old-timey makeup of a bunch of loose powder and like a poof.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would like to use catapult to try to put that powder like on her face with the idea of like trying to get her to cough, like trying to like get it in her lungs to try to get her to stop speaking. Catapult is thematic only.
There's no limitations right now on your verbal or somatic or components. I guess your material, yeah. Absolutely. It's a dex save, but she would automatically fail. It's not like an attack roll.
It's a dex saving throw.
Yeah, so she automatically fails in this instance. However,
look, if it's on a tray, I'll fucking huck the whole tray of whatever else is on it too. Is there fucking perfume on that shit? If it's gonna hit her in the back of the head as a bonus, I will do whatever I can.
No, I'm just debating. Here's how we're gonna roll this. Emphasis roll time.
Yeah.
You're gonna succeed in doing this because there's no roll against here. However, this is the first spell that's being cast that is going to negatively impact the Red Lady's desired outcome. She's going to counter spell if you fail, and your catapult will automatically fail as a first level spell.
Yeah.
She will counter spell this and successfully do so. However, what I'm balancing on the emphasis here is, did you impress her enough by resisting her magic collectively that she's still somewhat stunned and is willing to allow these ragtag fuckwits to succeed in what they want out of just sheer chaos? Or is she so determined in her goal that she will stop a first level spell and presumably Lola will go next and this will end? A emphasis roll is coming up. A 1 will lead to a counterspell. Closer to 1 will lead to counterspell. A 20 will lead to your success. I'm going to throw both at the same time. Let's do my normal blue die and my forward die. Sometimes moments like this, I do wish I had like another camera to throw on my dice box. But sometimes it's nice to have like the Insta like proof. So I never like to like
Logitech, Elgato.
We have
Razer.
cameras, but every time he tries to swap it in StreamYard, it gets mad.
yeah when
StreamYard.
I want to have a second thing.
Come through.
Find out. We have, unfortunately, an 8 and a 2.
Ooh. No, it's bad for us.
Yeah. Closer to 1 was the bad side.
I can't do anything with this. No, it's even lower. I have a low thing, so I can't do anything for that.
There's a moment where you get the spell off and you see the powder kind of beginning to kind of lift, and it's in the final moment of your spell as you're like finishing the like direction of it, and you feel a razor like whip of thread against like your vocal cord that stunts the incantation or whatever that's, or hits, if it's not somatic or verbal, if it's somatic, it hits your hand. It hits your hand enough to like hits your hand, and the powder's in place and just scatters over the mirror and over the table, and the spell fails.
Guys, we did everything we could. We tried so hard.
That is your
Sometimes the
action.
dice don't want it.
Andy,
Yeah.
you have a bonus action. You have movement.
I have one bonus action. It
Right,
is
that's
a fucking Hail Mary. It's not good. How far away am I from her? I know everyone's right there.
Do it.
At this point, Enid and DeCrane are within 5 feet of her, and the red, it's like Red Lady, Enid, Lola, DeCrane. Augustus is slightly further away.
Okay, I just need to get within 10 feet of her.
You're standing within 10 feet.
I'm going to do the Celestial Revelation.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and describe what the group sees here.
It's the same thing that they've seen before. Everything kind of goes, I guess she's leveled up a little bit now, so it's going to get stronger and stronger with each level, but it's like the light around her dims, and it's like every tattoo, every freckle, her eyes are all like shining from within with like a billion different colors of like warm starlight, like blues and oranges. And it's almost like you can less see her outline and more almost only see these. And at the end of my turn, everyone, it's just 3 damage. That's all it is, but it causes, in theory, a saving throw for concentration.
Oh wow.
It's an auto 3 damage, so
Yeah,
DeCrane,
just everyone is going to take 3 damage.
Love it.
not
at the end of my
Augustus.
turn.
He's too far away.
Oh, okay, great.
Because it's within 10.
Within 10.
You'll hit everyone except Augustus. So everyone takes that damage at the end of this moment right here. Andy, unless there's anything you want to say, because that would be the end of your turn. Or just as this...
Maybe right before I say it, I'll just say, like, we need to get to the door, essentially. And then I'll do this.
Instant flare and singeing pain. DeCrane and Enid, you guys take that damage. Lola gets kind of hit from the side by the radiance of Andy's celestial heritage. And the final concentration check is rolled before deciding what happens here.
I don't remember what her ad was.
2.
Okay.
On 2, so at least 8 or higher is a success, 7 or lower is a failure on concentration. Oh, where's my phone? Send it to you all for proof. Unfortunately, rolls an 8 on the die.
But it's the end of my turn. I got a reaction back. And I have 6.
Are you going to use it?
Yes.
Forcibly turning fate
Yes.
on its head, you see the first, or you hear and watch as Lola goes to take her turn in succession and is about to utter the final words to the Crimson Strings. She gets the words out before you turn fate on its head. And concentration falters, and there's a moment where she falters in her delivery, and you watch as her demeanor just kind of drops a little. She shakes her head. Her hands, suddenly she's just attacking the fire that's on her wrists, and like waving the thread and things that are burning off. You see some singe and burn marks to her wrists before she lets out a pained cry. And you watch as the red lady kind of gives you all a look and withdraws back within the kind of glass, and you watch it. The entire room returns to normal. She disappears. She's gone. And you are left with Lola gripping her burning wrists and shrieking, no, and looking around at you. Ruined everything. Just wailing, crying, furious. She drops to the floor, banging the floor. Get out! She's shrieking and yelling at you all.
You're okay. You're okay.
Absolutely not. She's just screaming. If you come close to her, she will flail with nails.
I think I would have tried to creep closer to Cure Wounds, but when she takes a swipe at me, I'll probably just try and dodge and get out of there.
That's a 14 plus.
She hits him. I'm not wearing armor.
A 15. You take 2 points of damage as she claws you. With just like dagger-like red nails.
Yeah.
Just like stick on.
Okay, we're going. We're trying to save you.
Just tears, wailing, tears, flailing, smashing, fucking tantrum.
Can I try one thing?
I almost prepared sleep, and then I didn't.
I'll go, there's another chair over there. I can just grab that.
Can I try and take the nail on the way out? If it's still there.
The needle? Doesn't Enid have it?
Did she grab it?
Did you get over to...
No, she chair.
No, I was
instead.
going to, and then I went to the chair instead, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
just try and-
in front of you on the way.
Yeah, I'll bend down, grab the box of the needle, and just hurry out. Just run out.
I would say as soon as like she started looked like she was going to come to, if possible, I would drop my form because I don't want anyone else to see that.
Smart.
If that's a reasonable thing to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I would love
Once
for
you
no one
saw
to-
success and once you altered the fate of things, then yeah, you're able to really drop it.
Okay.
You guys all rush back out into backstage, and you're seeing instantly, especially those of you who are more perceptive, people peering around the edges from the wings at the far side where you previously were, hearing the screams that Lola just was uttering and shrieking. People are looking at the wings. What the fuck is it? Like, and you hear kind of people from the opposite end kind of like coming to check and see what the fuck has happened. What are you guys doing?
I will dismiss Ray, put her in my breast coat. We gotta get out of here. We gotta hide. Just play cool.
Yeah, is there another room we can go to for privacy immediately? Or
There
is
are other
not?
dressing rooms immediately around you.
I'm just going to tell everyone where you are. There's nothing to see here. I'm getting ready for a show.
That doesn't stop anybody from approaching, I'll be honest.
I
Like,
start shoving people away.
Oh my god. Be cool.
make an intimidation check.
Can I kind of, as he's doing that, I will help to placate people. Although I'm like, fucking, my makeup's a shit show.
13.
His highest roll so
And-
far.
My intimidation is 4. 17.
Nice.
Yeah, honestly, like a show of force to a bunch of actors, they kind of back down.
I think privacy in a moment like this might be best.
Show
you
cheaters.
are plagued by what happened? What happened? That's Lola's room. Is Lola okay? What happened? Did she snap? Like, and like there's panic, there's fear, there's a little bit of like excitement.
We went to wish her a good show. She just freaked out on us. Look, she scratched me in the face.
Make a deception check with advantage.
Advantage, okay. My third nat 20 of the game.
Oh my god. God, you were making up for so many games of shit rolls.
That spreads like wildfire very appropriately. The rumor of Lola losing it on adoring fans and fellow actors and performers on the night of the show, the starlet's kind of rise to fame seems to be teetering on an edge in this moment. At least the rumor mill is heavily swirling around you. the suspicion of you has now been subdued thanks to your successful intimidation and deceptions. However, you are still being like, you're still like, people are still asking, people want to know what happened. People are like gathering around there. You guys are now the center of attention to this hushed thing. You're still hearing performance happening beyond. You're sure people probably heard that scream as well. You're not sure how far that carried, but at least past the backstage, like you're not sure how far from backstage might have been heard. But yeah, you guys are definitely kind of center of attention now. Like, what are you going to try and do? Where do you want to go?
I think I'll keep saying just stuff like, yeah, we saw her outside yesterday and she was such a good performer and I just want to wish her a good show, and then she freaked out on me. But I will look at you, Andy, and see you soaking wet and be like,
I am trying to get away because I'm trying to find a place where I can cast prestidigitation on myself to at least dry myself off, to like have the idea being like, oh wow, things are, oh, you know what, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Like, things are still not going to look as good, and people saw that I kind of look like shit. But I'm trying to alleviate some of it, but I need to get somewhere private to do that.
Easily, you guys can find a place. There are like the dressing rooms that you were in before. Like, there are places for you to go.
I'll make an excuse of flat out just like, yeah, obviously she seems like she's having a really hard time. I'm so sorry. I really don't want to ruin this. I'm going to go try to dry myself off and just try to like find a place and prestidigitate over and over again until I can fix as much as I can.
What I'll say is you're able to dry and clean that which has been smeared, but you can't repair.
I also have mending.
No, I mean the makeup.
Oh, the makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. But I mean, like, let's at least like clean and make sure the garments are okay. And if they need to redo my makeup, they can redo my makeup. That's not a problem.
That's easy. Okay, so you guys are able to find a place to get away. You're able to do that, a little bit of magic to save yourselves. Your judgment of time is a little tricky. However, you hear at this point a symphony swell. You hear the orchestra begin to pick up. And honestly, you're not even sure that this is the first couple of notes. It's the first time that you're like noticing it. So you're not sure.
And that was
within.
That was the 30-minute warning. So we need to.
That's the King Symphony Orchestra. You guys got to get ready. Yep. Okay, we'll watch from the crowd.
Or wherever we were supposed to go.
Break a paw. That's what we'd always say.
You guys.
I don't have any paw. Okay.
DeCrane and Andy, you guys find your way back to the same room that you had previously been in, and find Rose and Melanie frantically pacing. They see you and they go pale. They are, what?
There was an incident. We didn't. Hey, everyone's fine. We can fix some of this, right? Or we just go like a natural thing.
She's gonna kill us. Okay. Okay. They both just like snap to attention. Okay. And they just start directing and going and get you up on your thing. They're both more focused on you. DeCrane, they just kind of look you over and just say like, that's going to have to do. And just go.
I would have prestidigitated him if I could to at least clean shit.
There was more that they were going to do in these final moments.
Oh, that's right.
Fuck.
You've now taken the bulk of the time in repairing what they've done previously, and then they fit you with the final elements of both of your kind of attire, and it is a almost like ice queen and king kind of theme. There are these frost elements that like almost like a dry ice that are giving off a little bit of their own kind of aura, and this like faint kind of frost that glitters and smokes off of shoulder pauldrons and elements all down like a beaded sleeve that Andy you're wearing on either side. It's a deep V cut, but there is like a choker necklace. There's a tiara that kind of has multiple points, almost more crown like. DeCrane, you are fitted also with a bit of an ice crown but that crown also bears like a half mask, almost kind of like a half of Phantom of the Opera, with kind of like a jagged kind of ice feature, and the last kind of things they both kind of they chatter, looking at you back and forth, chatter. They just dip into a little bit of like kind of a blue silver glitter and just kind of flick in your chest. They just kind of give you a little chest sparkle.
Just Twilight.
They kind of just look at each other like just one more, and then feel like that's good.
This is the skin of a killer, Andy.
With moments to spare, Rose and Melanie rush you to the wings where you now see your competition, standing in their attire, in their displays. They are. It's all high fashion, so it's very much on your taste. A lot of it looks not really realistically like something you normally would wear.
None of these things are wearable.
None of these things are
very practical.
Not practical, that's the word I'm looking for. But it's hard to deny that they are not a very attractive group of people. And they're pulling off the looks that they are wearing very well. The other designers have done a particularly strong job. Notably, Verity and Visarius, the two tieflings, are very they stand out from the others. But you guys are fitting in very well in this kind of rushed job. You're standing in very well, and you are being looked at appropriately as competition and judged and frustrated that you guys are just walking and waltzing into this with ease and pulling it off. So, after the events previous, we get to dive into the Order of Majesty presenting Sovereigns of Frost, the runway show for the ages. As Euphoria comes as the bearer of the Mantle of Majesty to introduce the show, you watch as this kind of pinky purple skinned tiefling takes to the stage, the mantle sweeping behind in this like ethereal aura, this cape. Enid and Augustus, you guys kind of make your way to the front, to like the doors where you would come in from Carvel Hall, and just kind of don't really have seats, but are just kind of standing room in the back, just kind of watching from like the walkway that would lead down on the on the left side. But it gives you a great view of everything and a pretty good view of the crowd taking things in. But the lights are very clearly on the stage. So it is a little difficult, especially with your lack of dark vision, to pinpoint things within the crowd. But you have a good view of the show.
Can I tell you one thing I'm looking for? Maybe
yeah,
sure. This?
Yeah.
I want to see if I can find Eldros.
Sure.
Is he watching? Not actively searching him out, but like looking.
Let's call it a perception check, but a disadvantage because he would be not obviously within light. It would be within the darkness of the audience.
Okay, that's kind of low. That was high. So 14.
Okay. At a cursory glance, at least for the beginning, as you guys just get there, you don't see him. But I'll let you know if as you kind of continue looking through the show, if anything changes.
And I'll pocket that. In all that commotion, pocketed the. Not nail. Why do I keep thinking nail?
Needle.
Yeah.
Is it like a needle and thread needle?
Yeah, but really big.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a big guy. Yeah. Cool.
And it did. Beside it was a red velvet box that it is long enough to fit into. Not quite with like a specific inset that it would fit into, but long enough that it clearly must have come within this at least. So
cool.
You're able. It's not just loosely a needle. It's at least in this box.
Great.
So, as the show goes, it will be a skill challenge for the two of you. The intention of the skill challenge is to be, not to hit a DC, but to be the most in sync with one another. So you're looking to score close to the scores that each of you roll, rather than trying to beat a score. The intention is for the two of you to perform together rather than be the most impressive. The clothes will do that for you. You want to be in unison for this challenge. So there will be 5 rounds to this that you hit each position. There's your entrance. There's the walk. There's the strike a pose at the end of the walk. There's the walk back, and then a final look to the crowd. At each of the 5 stages, you will make a performance, a deception, or an acrobatic skill check. Neither of you can announce what you're going to do before you do it. It's going to be on a dime, and I realize now I had you do this at the last game, but we didn't get to it. I didn't get to do it now, so we're going to pause here as you each get a king, queen, and jack playing card. As we hit the top of the round, before you roll, you will announce. We'll start with, obviously, Kevin. You're going to call which one performance, deception, or acrobatics check you're going to make at each point. Leah, you're going to flip the card and reveal at that point prior to Kevin calling. You can't consult with one another. It's going to have to just go. You can describe what you're doing, all these kinds of things, but you can't be setting up or discussing which role you're going to play for. Again, you're not rolling against a DC. You're rolling in the interest of getting close to one another. If you choose the same skill, if you happen to nail both doing the same skill, you can add or subtract your bonus to your roll. So it gives you the option of playing a little math to try and get closer.
This is going to be hard.
Yep. Any and all of your abilities are at play here if you want to use them, though obviously Portent has been burned.
I've just wasted all my good Portent.
Keeping in mind, you will be in front of an audience while doing it, so anything that is showy or obviously magical in nature will be visible. But whatever, if there was something that could augment your stuff, could come in handy. A nat 20 will be considered an auto success, and nat 1 is an auto failure for both of you at that position. Regardless of what you've chosen, you will succeed or fail. The disparity between your scores will be subtracted from a perfect score of 100. If you collectively beat 65, you will win the performance out of the other groups. 65 is the other highest score, is what I've kind of loosely, randomly determined.
Okay.
So we're going to go through. I'm going to keep track of most of the scoring part of things. You guys just really have to describe what you're doing, choose the score that you want to use, roll, and hope for the best. Okay, so as luck would have it, you guys are the newest. You are up first in the performance, in the walkway, and the Sovereigns of Frost. The show will end with the Mantle of Majesty's kind of chosen models. So it's going to go you guys first. So unfortunately, without any reference point, the lights dim, Euphoria walks off, and the stage director and manager kind of finds the two of you, flags you down, and begins beckoning you forward. The lights of the stage rise. You hear the kind of band begin to pick up with a chosen track, and begin. The two of you walk out in tandem, and we will hit your entrance. Leah, pick your card, and Kev, what are you going with? It is a performance, deception, or acrobatics check. How do you enter?
Acrobatics.
Okay. And what are you doing with acrobatics?
I come in just full speed, and then as I'm nearing the end of the stage, I start doing flips, like somersaults in the air. And I land
somersaults and then lands right at the kind of entry point.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andy follows with
I'm doing deception. Because I'm pretending not to be absolutely fucking terrified.
Okay.
I'm projecting confidence, which I don't actually have.
As you watch DeCrane do a bunch of flips, how does that confidence hold?
We'll see.
Go ahead and roll acrobatics and deception for first round.
15 roll.
Plus your acrobatics of...
And my acrobatics...
You're going to be so much higher than
7.
me.
That's a
Jesus.
22.
I can't even remotely hit 22. My deception's decent, but I'm at a 14.
14 is a disparity of 8.
That's bad.
It's okay, gang. It's okay. First time.
the lack of you working together in this instance, DeCrane taking a very fast lead, then Andy leading, kind of shoulders, broad and wide, chest held high, but walking, but seemingly behind your partner, is a stilted kind of beginning as you kind of catch up to one another, kind of give each other a look at your difference in approach. You continue your walk down the actual runway. You're headed towards the end. Leah, have you picked your card?
So this is the middle part, right?
This is you've just walked out to the backstage. You are now walking down the actual runway en route to striking a pose at the end of the runway, at the end of the thrust on the open stage. So you're on the walk. This is just a walk check. But are you doing anything special with your walk? Kev, performance, deception, or acrobatics for this walking portion?
Performance.
A performance check. Andy?
Performance.
With both of you going performance on the walk, you can add or subtract your bonuses, so you can kind of find out what is the better way to get in sync with each other. Please go ahead and roll your checks.
My performance is only a +1, so I don't know how much that's actually going to help.
Both of you have the same bonus to performance, so it actually
okay. So we have to roll well, or in sync.
No, you don't have. You just have to roll the same number. You could roll a 2 as long as you both roll it.
All right. Do I show what I rolled?
Yep.
3.
Oh my god! I rolled a 5 on the dice.
Amazing.
You guys get hit.
4.
So if I subtract 1 and you add 1,
I am +1 performance.
You both get 4.
then we can get 4.
4 is all around.
I saw the 5 and was like, oh no, this is bad.
A perfect walk, perfectly in sync one another, step to step in the unspoken moment at the kind of stilted, stunted kind of opening. You guys catch a perfect stride. The close as you walk and as you gain pace, you're watching from the audience. You're seeing these glittering, sparkling trails that give allusion to a gathering kind of cape flowing behind them. The music has been picked to kind of give this crescendo that almost forces out the waves, and it invokes a frigid, icy interior. The lights also kind of adding to some of that, but there is a regal presence to this pair, and they do look, from the audience perspective, from this kind of odd start to a sudden a warmth as you guys make your way. The crowd quickly turns and are seeing a surprisingly adept duo. But
Whoa,
striking
they look really good, Nettie.
They really do.
One sec, the cat found another cat outside. Give me a second.
Oh no.
There's cat calls from the audience.
There are whistles. There are all manner of response.
Can I ask you a question to fill in some time here? What is the audience like? Is it quiet clapping? Is it respectful? What's the vibe of the watchers?
The first after the entrance was scattered, sparse claps of uncertainty. Now with this renewed kind of really impressive recovery, there is there's an understanding of there are 5 checks to be made based on audience approval is what the checks are equating to, right? So there is nobody's necessarily hooting and hollering at this point, though Strike a Pose does come with a little bit of that more impressive response from the crowd, depending on how they roll.
Excellent.
There's a little bit of audience participation here. As we come to Strike a Pose, Leah, pick a card. And
guess that card. Wait, actually, sorry.
What do you do?
Okay. Wait, do I start? I guess.
This is you. This is your striking pose. This is the end point. You guys are approaching rapidly the final kind of point of the end of the walkway.
Performance.
We're gonna hit performance and an acrobatics check. So not quite as in sync, but let's see how you play it off with the rolls. So acrobatics, performance. Go ahead and get me your rolls.
Come on, gang. You got it.
And as you're rolling, please feel free to describe what you're doing, what it looks like. So a 9 for Kev.
Yes.
I rolled an 11, so it's 13.
Okay,
It's not
not
bad.
bad.
It's not
Not
bad.
A difference of 4.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Well,
Feel free to describe what is the acrobatic versus performative walk, striking a pose. What does it look like?
If Leah is doing any kind of acrobatic like jump or anything, I'm gonna like sort of like go under or go over.
Okay.
So, like,
You go like the B-boy, like...
yes.
Okay. What does acrobatics look like for Andy?
Look, Andy's not dexterous, so the most we're gonna manage is like, I'm just trying to... I picked out acrobatics because I'm trying to like move in a way that makes the clothes like move and sparkle. Like trying to like coordinate my movement in a way that like either like if there's something to swish, that it swishes, or like turning so that the light is catching in a specific direction, rather than like me trying to do a feat of acrobatics.
Let me offer a pairing then.
Sure.
With that intent, and to Crane, you're picking up on Andy, letting Andy lead, and picking up and responding in kind, and doing so with relative in sync. Andy goes for almost like a pirouette spin, and as you do, the sparkles and flare and the elements of your dress do swish out, and as you kind of fall into it, Crane catches and dips Andy down and kind of splays Andy out to the crowd with kind of a hands down kind of reveal before popping you both up side by side once more, flipping sides at the end. So now you're on opposite sides where you started, holding ground.
Are they in love?
The crowd does respond very admirably. There are more boisterous claps. There is some hooting and hollering from some of the members of the crowd.
Some of the drunker members of the crowd.
Some of the drunker members, certainly in the lower bowl. The strike a pose hits, and it hits well. You now have to walk back. Leah, have you picked your card?
No, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do.
Think fast.
Yep. Fuck me. How the fuck do you use any of this? Okay. I'm going to do...
And Kevin, which skill are you going to use for the walk back? Where now you're just returning back to entrance to kind of have a final look. But is there any performative elements? Are you trying to be deceptive in kind of how Andy was earlier, or are you trying to do any acrobatic maneuvers on your way back?
I'm gonna do a deception where I make it look like I'm about to like flip off the stage, but then I just go. I walk off.
It's adorable.
Okay.
Wow.
Andy, what did you choose?
I last minute switched to deception.
Okay. You are both in sync with your
Wow.
choices. You can add or subtract your bonuses, which is a 4 or a 1, Andy and Crane there. So this could swing well. Go ahead and roll. And then Andy, please describe, 18 to a 19 for Kev. Andy, go ahead and describe your version of the deception here.
I was going for more of a like... I'm not trying to fool the crowd. Does it make sense to be like an internal deception? That's how I've been using it, of like masking any of this. My
intent for including deception was because neither of you do this, obviously.
Yeah.
This was a, how do I show confidence, charisma, and that I belong? It's a deception of self. It's a deception of the crowd that you should be up here, all this kind of stuff.
Okay, then I will, if you'll welcome it, follow Crane's movement, where like him pretending to jump off something would absolutely make me be like, oh fuck, and I'm just gonna roll with it and pretend that I've been going along with his thing all along, and then like as he like stops and turns, I'll like grab his hand and almost like spin him around me as if it's like part of a choreographed thing.
Okay, what was your roll?
And I rolled 17 on the dice.
Okay, so
and I have a +4.
that would bring you up to 21, which is a disparity of 2. Amazing.
So good, guys. So good.
This is okay.
This is magic.
So far, very well positioned here. Only 12 points off a perfect score. With the final look back, you guys come in relatively perfect sync in the last 3 checks. Pretty perfect sync. To the final look back, this is your final pose, your final chance to give an impression to the crowd. Lee, have you picked your card?
Mm-hmm.
Kev, which role are you going to go for the final look?
Performance.
Okay.
Performance.
Add or subtract your bonus here. Go ahead and roll D20.
If they don't win, I'm burning this place to the ground.
A 9.
An 8 or a 10, depending on how this goes.
Did you roll a 9?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking rolled a 9, Kevin.
Oh my god, this is the greatest performance of all time.
Oh my god. I thought it was a 6 for seconds, but it was not a 6. It's a 9.
Winner.
A perfect, 2 perfect rounds. What do your final looks look like as you come to make your final pose before departing and leaving the crowd with this impression?
I think going with, like, for me at least, going with her direction, which was like on my side. I don't know if anyone's seen, like rather than high fashion, like the last Victoria's Secret fashion show number where there's usually like a live band and everyone's like, the models are just having fun. Like they're just kind of like bopping along and they're like dancing a little bit and everyone's just there like big smiles. It's more of like that big side of just looking like I'm really enjoying myself.
Reflected by DeCrane.
So I will play on that, like, enjoying yourself theme, and I will also incorporate sort of like the sort of like the bye dance of,
As you do.
A great band 10 years ago.
Yeah. Not familiar to this this particular round, but where you come from, it's a banger.
They love it. The marionette one? Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that's bye now though, but I like the marionette one.
Nevertheless, with the joyous end to your performance, you do get a rousing applause from the audience. They're hooting and hollering from all levels, and an impressive 86 as the show continues on. It led hot and did not meet that level. As audience members, Enid and Augustus, you guys watch the next performance. Bomb. They are not good. It's a big drop off to the point where there's a handful of the crowd going back to like the Carvel Hall to like see if there's any extra drinks or food that they can kind of like. People are just kind of like dipping out, bathroom breaks, that kind of thing. The next crew. They pick things back up, but it's not the same. The two at the end, the two tieflings, they score the 65. But really, you can see that they're not in sync. They were almost like actively fighting on stage at one point, and it doesn't particularly go well. It's like entertaining, so like it's okay, but it's not. It was never quite the opening performance. And as the Sovereigns of Frost show ends, there's no crowning of anything in this moment. This would be after. This is for the Mantle of Majesty, the Order of Majesty, to kind of decide after the fact. However, from an audience perspective, both of you being perceptive, both of you being insightful, you can easily tell that the winners are on your side.
They must have won it, Nettie. They must have won it.
Dude, they were so good together.
Oh my god. Should we ship them?
Is this a ship?
We'll have to think of a ship name. Like the Candy.
Oh, that's
It's not bad.
yeah, because like
Sure.
I don't even know what it would be like the other way.
It would be like Andic or and
Andromeda, which sounds awful.
I don't like that one either.
You guys, do you guys hang out to watch the rest of the show from the audience side? I will say throughout the rest of the show, Augustus with a 14, you don't see Eldra in the audience here. However, I will point out there is a balcony level and boxes that you don't have sight lines on from this position. Like picture yourself under those, kind of waiting in the back, kind of standing area, because you guys don't have seats. So in theory, he could be above you, but you don't see him in the stage in the audience around.
Nettie, I think they're supposed to do the Red Marion performance at the very end. So maybe we should stay here just to see how Lola does during that.
For a refresher, actually, as well, you guys find there are the programs lying around everywhere. Able to quickly pick one up, and I'll recap here. As the Order of Majesty, the Sovereigns of Frost presented by the Order of Majesty does come to a close. We come to 10 o'clock at night. It is getting later into the evening. And you're watching the lights come down and a single performer come to the stage. As a performance by Dame Elise Alvarin opens, as a single performer, a single musician performance opens. There are the two readings to be presented by the Fellowship of Wordsmiths, some like spoken word performances, and then the final two plays. The last Vigil of Feldrix, and then the Crimson Strings will close the show. So you've still got an hour before the Crimson Strings would come on.
Okay. Maybe we should try and meet up with Andy and DC and see what they want to do.
See where they're at. Yeah.
Yeah. Could we try and work our way towards backstage? See if we can catch their eye? Yeah.
Easily enough. You guys, when you did come off backstage, did you stay to watch the others go on? What did you guys do? Kind of jumping back in time a little.
Probably, yeah. Andy tries to make friends with everybody, so she's probably trying to talk to all the other models. Because she also has no concept of whether or not they did good. Because she
that doesn't.
We could have blown it for all I know.
Throw an insight check for me.
Not my strong suit. No, I rolled good. Oh, it's -1. 16.
Yeah, that's to your detriment. You are finding that your aloof nature and like the fact you're like, oh yeah, I've never done this before. It's pissing them off more than you're making friends that you did so well, and are just kind of rolling into this. They're not super chill, and they're pretty cold to you both. They don't hang around long after their performance. They kind of dip away. However, nearing almost instantly after the end of the show, the two tieflings come off. You watch them kind of bickering quietly amongst each other and then kind of make their way off. You feel the presence of Euphoria coming before you see them, and scolding in Inferno like you've never heard to both of them. It is dark speech. And it is rough. They are taken to task, and they look beaten and broken and are hurried away. The mantle swishing behind to the cackles of Mistress Savine, as she is quite tipsy and incredibly happy as she comes to greet both of you. Darlings, oh, so perfect, both of you. Kismet. Serendipity, the whole thing. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. That mantle will be mine, without a doubt.
I'm happy to hear. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was kind of fun.
To do a job, you might as well do it well.
I know this is not your thing, but really, thank you very much.
I still don't believe it. You've never done this before. I absolutely don't believe it for a second. For that, I should say, at the beginning, I did. At the beginning, I was worried. At the beginning, I drank a lot. Then, you very much impressed me. I was thrilled.
It's just where I come from. Royalty partake in the finer things at times.
I think that's true of most places, if I'm not mistaken, in the hierarchy of aristocracy. But nevertheless, where you come from, maybe that's different. I'm overjoyed. Of course, please, tomorrow, we have much to do tonight, parties and such. I cannot wait to rub it in Euphoria's face. It's going to be beautiful. When we have a chance tomorrow, feel free to come by, and I will give you all that was promised.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. What are our duties from here on for the rest of the
It doesn't matter which one. It doesn't matter at all. It really does.
Oh, great. Okay.
Do
cool.
whatever you want.
I really don't want this to get missed out. Come off?
Where are the girls? Maybe. It'd be nice to not sully it. But at the same time, I don't care. I really don't. You know what? Sure, let's find Rose. Hey, and she just wanders off. And in time, you are returned to your regular attire. It will take a minute. You guys would miss elements of the next couple of performances as both of you are kind of brought back in conversation and all these kinds of things. You're told about some after parties and things that are happening and some other soirees and affairs. There are multiple. It seems like after this, there's a little bit of stuff that happens here as people are exiting back to Carvel Hall, but really the parties will take place elsewhere. And it seems like the clicky thing starts to happen. There's a model and Order of Majesty kind of party. There's the writers brooding at a bar kind of party. There's other things are happening. People go off to high level manor homes and have their own kind of soiree deeper into the evening. But you are invited to most of the options, given your success, should you want to. At this point, Enid and Augustus, you guys are able to connect back with these guys, and we'll call it 10, coming into the 10:45, coming into the two final performances are going to kind of come on. You've heard a little bit in the background of the two readings that have been happening, but you guys had said you wanted to reconnect with these guys backstage, right?
Yeah, want to congratulate them. Yeah.
Then in that case, you would have at this point finally come back in, met with them, congratulated, and are now kind of back into your normal clothes and free to do what you want as the last vigil of Feldrix would kind of be about to start. Just to give you context, 15 minutes before the Crimson Streams would start.
I kind of want to get out there for this last performance.
Did you guys hear anything? Yeah, did you hear anything or see anything? I mean, we couldn't really hear. All the other actors kind of went off on their own.
We tried to look for Eldros, but we didn't really see him. You guys were so good, by the way. Wow. I didn't know you guys done that before. It was crazy.
Oh, good. I didn't. I was 100% certain I was going to walk off the end of the stage because the lights are really bright. It's really hard to see where the end of the stage is.
I thought Dick Crane was going to walk off the stage. And then he did a little naughty, saucy little finger back and forth. And then you turned into a cool pivot of him. It was just wow.
It's almost like he's done this before.
I stare at Dick Crane. You've done this before?
Well, I don't know about that, but I know a thing or two about performing.
Did you say women at the end there?
Performing?
Performing.
I mean, you did. Thank you, Dick Crane. I know you kind of got roped into these, and then kind of doing this so I can get my stuff I need for other reasons. But I really do appreciate it.
It's happy to help.
Thank you.
I nudge Enid.
Give them a look. Okay, well, should we get out before, I kind of
Yeah, let's get a good seat
We
in case
let's
anything
take us
happens.
a roundabout way and see if we can eavesdrop on the way. Because honestly, there was this when the other people, the tieflings, came off, she was really laying into them, and honestly, I so badly wanted to eavesdrop because my entire life I narrate everyone around me and everyone eavesdrops all the time, and I'm really tired of not being in on the drama. I so badly wanted to cast comprehend languages, but I didn't.
Growth. Yeah, I really felt like they were fighting on stage. They had this tension to them. Yeah.
I couldn't really see it. It was really hard to see. So they came off very angry.
There was a sexual kinetic energy that was really like
a bad way or in a good way?
In a bad way. It was not working.
Okay. Well, let's go try to see what we can hear and see, and hopefully this whole thing doesn't fall apart. Maybe it'll be fun if it does. I guess it depends on the way in which it falls apart.
What if that thing shows up again?
Well, you took the thing. You took the needle, right?
Yeah.
It seems like part of the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Hustle over to the stage, try and find a good spot.
To wait in the wings, you mean? Or to be in the front?
I guess I was thinking in the... What were you thinking, Leah, Andy, Enid?
I don't know.
Ellie? DC?
The wings might give us a behind the scenes, if
We
there's
don't want any-
chattering or if there's any other something that's supposed to happen, we might get a better idea if something's going wrong from behind the scenes. Or you get a better view from the front.
I don't want to get scratched again. She got me so good.
That's true. Maybe she shouldn't see us.
What were you saying, Enid?
I was saying I could. Oh,
I could always send out Toot Sweet as well. Go check out the other area we're not gonna go look at.
If you you could put him up in the rafters,
Oh,
and then
okay.
he can kind of watch from above and eavesdrop, and then we can not be there because we do not want her to see us.
So is he going to look down at the stage or at the audience?
Stage?
Maybe stage
Thing
so
is,
he
if
doesn't
he's-
get blinded by the lights.
If he's high up, he can have his view on both.
I love this idea. This is great.
Yeah.
I'll hold your hand. If I squeeze your paw twice, it means you should come out of that.
Okay. All right. You guys ready?
Toot Sweet!
You guys are able to easily find a place to tuck away to do that. Actually, he's still out here, so he would have come and found you at some point, and just kind of
My God.
appears. And yeah, you are able to obviously through your connection. The difficult part is going to be how a crowd reacts to a squirrel just kind of being there. So I'm going to ask for a stealth check from Toot Sweet to see if the crowd notices a squirrel flying up into the rafters.
What if he's
Thinking,
climbing?
like the curtain and climbing.
Yeah.
In,
He's still a
the-
giant squirrel who goes up into
Giant
the rafters.
Dude,
Bigger
giant
than a
is
normal squirrel.
giant is cruel language, I would say. He's,
He's not on my sheet.
Oh,
is he on your old one? Let's see.
Yeah, my old one. Okay, hold on.
I'm going to give him probably a dex of 2 or 3.
I thought you gave him proficiency stealth plus 10.
I don't think it's that.
I think it was low light plus 12.
Okay, hold on. I'm just opening up my other sheet.
Just see if there are some perceptive elements in the crowd. The performances are on, so obviously the focus is there, and it is getting to a tense ending for the finale of the final moments of the last Vigil of Feldrix. So you're probably safe enough to kind of get away with it before Crimson Strings comes on. But there's always the chance of a 1 and a squirrel tearing down a section of curtain onto a crowd.
8.
That's fine.
18.
Okay.
Yeah.
18. Great.
18.
Yeah, absolutely fine. The performance actually gives quite a bit of leeway and able to kind of scurry up into the rafters, kind of looking down over the crowd. And you guys take a position in the wings, correct? That was what the decision was?
Yeah, let's do it.
As you kind of finally get yourselves into position, you are seeing the final moments of the performance of the last Vigil of Feldrix. It's a tense, kind of sad end of Feldrix is the kind of winged lion mount of the Honorable Knight Kieran, who goes on to become the god, the kind of patron god of most of Candorne. And this was like his mount and like basically his most trusted ally. And when Kieran died, Feldrix held vigil over his grave until he passed. And this is that moment. This is the passing of Feldrix at the grave of Kieran. And it is like this silent ending as they're doing kind of like a Lion King-esque, like, they've made like a puppet of this like massive lion, and it is this death, this quiet ending, and the music is beautiful. It's sad. It's a well done performance by the ensemble. As the show closes, the lights come down. The ensemble exits to a rousing applause. It was well received, well positioned for this kind of a crowd. That is the kind of pleading to the masses, pleading to the audience that you have here, knowing that they are going to be more in favor of certainly the religious elements of the presentation and things like that. And you collectively go ahead and make perception checks for me.
Okay, gang, this is it. Let's do it.
Unfortunately, Bunny's disadvantage. It's dark. Okay. It is dark in the backstage.
That's not great.
15.
That's really good. Just 12.
Okay.
23.
Nice.
16.
Wow. 19.
Now, I want to clarify: are you looking through Toot Suite yet, or are you looking just as yourself for this?
Oh, I'm at as myself.
Okay. A 23.
23. Yeah, I rolled 24 and 23.
Sick.
Okay. I want a follow-up roll from you specifically,
Okay.
And we're gonna call it investigation.
Investigation.
With confidence.
Just straight.
Investigation.
Okay. Oh, natural 20, so 23.
Okay. Okay. So
We rolling.
most of you, but Enid obviously kind of keying in. I don't remember, Andy, what your role was in perception.
It was 19.
Yeah. So all of you see this, but Augustus just not quite as quickly focused elsewhere. Across on the other wing, you see they're rushing out all these stage elements for the performance of Crimson Strings, but you do see and feel the presence of Lola Snicket on the other side in the wings. She is immaculate, dressed in the full red dress she was wearing, and makeup, hair all done up, immaculate and perfect. As the lights come up, and she's in position in the middle of the stage and begins the performance, and it's not just the Crimson Strings, the poem. It's the story around and a larger kind of exploration of that. It's a slightly longer performance. You guys are watching, you're waiting, you're looking, you're waiting to see how this is going to play. You're waiting to see what Lola does, but it's what Enid spies gives an inkling of something amiss. Enid, you spy her. She goes, but just something feels off. And you're waiting, and you can't quite see it. You guys don't have dark vision. You're waiting to like spot what is off, but you can just sense something's off. And it's when the lights come up, and she's got her kind of hands up as she begins the performance, and then brings her hands down, and is very emotive and very open with her movements as you do on stage. There's no sign of the burns on her wrists. There's no signs of anything from your encounter earlier. Immaculate. Perfect. She goes through the performance. continues and begins to break into some of the elements of you recognizing elements of the marionette, the Crimson Strings as you know it. Bits of the lines are kind of coming out in how she's speaking and how she's performing. Ultimately, it is the tale and the story of a woman who leads and who trails all of these various lives into an interconnected kind of web in which she is puppeting and marionetting and in control, and pulls a string here and causes this to happen here, and over here this happens over here, and this she directs, and this she commands over here, and for each string that kind of comes to its fruition that cause and effect, the actor that is on the other end of it, you watch, they are strung up and hanged in this performative hanging. They're standing, you can see they're not actually being hanged, but you can see that they're playing up the hanging. I have to clarify that in a D&D game because that could happen. They are under this performance, and you see this kind of array of a red tree begin to kind of form of all these webs and strings that is now dangling these various now fallen and dead victims of Red Marion, the Crimson Strings. And you're watching this kind of play out as the various kind of plans come to fruition and the ends of the strings are cut and these figures meet their end. Some are being representative, not just people, but of just aims. They're kind of ideas and concepts and things, and inciting incidents, so to speak. But there is just something that's not perfect to Enid's intuition. Something's not quite right with who Lola is, how you've seen her. She's coming to the end of the performance, and at this point you're watching she kind of comes to the very forefront of the stage in the thrust in the open stage closest to the audience, and is looking up into the crowd, and you're seeing actually Andy, you're the one to kind of pick out what this is, but snow starts to kind of fall on the stage. There's this gentle kind of snow that is falling from what Andy's noticing, like inset arcane, like, you know, sigils that are just creating druid craft, like rain and snow, like, you know, they can create this weather elements that are just kind of replicating the cantrip. And this gentle snow is falling, and you're watching it kind of land on the stage and cause it to be a little slick and wet. And Lola begins the first lines of the poem you know. She opens and begins to recite the poem, the Crimson Strings. I'd like a perception check from everyone, just as like this is going on. What other things could you be spying? Could you be seeing?
Disadvantage for bunny rabbits?
Not at this point.
Great.
There's enough lights in the from the performance that you now can see a little bit better. Straight rolls.
26 for me.
14 for me.
I only rolled a 9.
11.
Okay. Swept up a little into the actual performance and focused more on her than on the surroundings. But Augustus, you are able to kind of pull away from her, having not like kind of tuned into this element that Enid has. Able to kind of just like look around. You're still looking for Eldros, like that from earlier. Trying to spot, where the fuck is this guy? He's like, this should be his thing. Like, he should be standing beside you in the wings, or he should be in the audience, should be up by the king somewhere. Like, you're trying to spot him. And maybe 2 or 3 lines into Crimson Strings, she's going. You don't see Eldros. You do see Ludomir. You hadn't spotted Ludomir this whole time. Ludomir Nostrov is in the audience. In the one of the boxes on the upper left, you see he's seated there and by himself in a box. But just there's a moment of like, and then you go back.
I feel afraid that I see him.
You go back to looking around. And centrally, over the most pronounced box, center stage, king and queen. You see the presumed princess. It looks like the daughter of one of them, and the man who's with her. You don't recognize, just the guy. You can see there a scattering of presumed knights and that kind of thing in there, and entourage, and then there's probably some elements of their inner court around, but you don't recognize any of them particularly. But you can see that box there in their front and center. And a couple of lines in, two things happen simultaneously that you notice. One, the man who was with the princess stands up. Little odd at this point. The second is a flurry of dark cloth on the opposite side of the stage, the other wing. You see something move into shadow. You don't have a great bead on who, what, where, when, why, but someone positioned themselves in the wings in the darkness that you now can't see. But someone just moved into a position on the other side, in kind of the flurry of a cloak kind of sound. You know what I mean? You gather these two things happen simultaneously. That happens. She continues the performance, the 4th, 5th, 6th line. She's about halfway through. And you watch as she puts her hands out into the crowd as she's kind of continuing, and it's almost like conducting her own. Thread and ribbon begins to kind of cascade out into the crowd. And it's kind of floating and kind of fluttering on this kind of like a a dragon kind of kite that you'd see is just kind of flying and floating, kind of held and drawn by string around the room, aimless but designed. And the man up top is now leaned like over the balcony edge. And from your position on the wings, you're behind Lola, so you can't quite see, but you rolled a very high perception, and you are both very high in wisdom. The body language is pointed. She's looking at this guy directly. This is almost now a directed performance to this individual. She's getting towards the last 4 or 5 lines, and she kind of directs directly at him and gives a flick to her, kind of a flick, a gentle kind of come hither kind of thing as she's finishing the lines. One of these crimson strings kind of makes its way towards him, and he reaches out and grabs it, and it pulls him over the edge. And there's a moment where there's a gasp from the crowd as he is like held aloft by this thread that is wrapped around his hand and is winding around him, and almost kind of like flying him down to the stage. He's kind of flown down as she's finishing some of the lines, and he comes and stands at the edge of the stage, and she embraces him close, cups like the back of his head, and in a very getting sensual and erotic, like now delivering the final lines to this one person, finishes the final line, and there's a passionate kiss between the two of them. Mass gasps from the crowd, very pointed from the box that he just came from, gasp and remarks. And as they break from one another, lights down. There's a kind of beat before a scattered applause.
Yours was better, guys.
There's a significant confusion as to what just happened.
Would it be fair, Kyle, when the lights go out? How many are there people around us?
Not a ton. But
Okay. No, then that's
The
too
wings of
risky.
the finale of a show.
Yeah, I understand. That's too risky. I was going to cast Detect Magic because there was like a lot of elements of that performance. I'm like, how is any of this not magical if people aren't supposed to be magic?
You're welcome to try and do it subtly. You can excuse yourself and come back. It's a 10-minute duration.
No. I have it prepared, so it's an action.
No, the duration.
Oh, sorry.
is 10
The duration is 10 minutes. I understand what you're saying.
But you're welcome to try and subtly cast it. You're
It
in
was
the
like
shadows of the wings of the side of the stage.
Okay, I mean, I'll try.
You can try and hide it.
It was literally more about like, I didn't see the stuff Scott saw at the beginning, but it was more of like flat out like, how the fuck are they doing this if they're not using magic? Because I was told they weren't going to be using magic. I'll try. So do you want what, like a deception check or like a...
It'll be sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, okay.
Come on now.
Oh, that was good. Dirty 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a quick cast. You have it prepared. So you're doing a ritual. The focus is on this, especially if you're doing it towards the end ever so slightly. There's a lot more focus on her than there is on those in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll give it to you like before the show closes that you're able to get it off if you were intending to. What's the range that you get?
It's only 30 feet. So that was my next
30
question.
feet
I don't know
gets
how
you to
far
the-
away. Okay.
30 feet gets you to the end of the stage. Okay, so there is a magic to, and I already described it to you, the arcane
Snow.
elements that are creating the snow effects. There is a magic to each of the lights that has an artifice element that is like an arcane battery that is pure arcane, kind of giving power to a light spell, essentially. There are elements of the strings that are kind of floating around the crowd are mundane. Those are just on strings that are just kind of flying around. They've been rigged up in whatever way to make them do weird stuff. The one that got to the guy, magic, clearly magic, of a transmutative style. However, fully encasing Lola is an illusory magic.
That's what I thought. As soon as I clock that, I will, under my breath, say to everyone, I don't think that's her. Someone's disguised themselves.
Pause for 1 sec. You might also pick up something else.
Hold, please.
I didn't have this ready over here.
Elevator music here.
Can detect magic see finger of death?
It would for a brief moment before you die. You do see what's the right school for this? I guess there's a necromantic aura on the other side of the wings. It's a necromantic with illusion hybrid of magic.
If we're still, depending on what point the thing is, could I nudge Enid and point towards the other wing, knowing that Tasweet is somewhere hidden?
Well, he's up in the rafters, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
he
he's
looking
up.
out at this in the audience?
He was
Or was
kind
he-
of like,
Oh, I was misunderstanding. Okay.
No,
I thought for some reason he was in like the rafters of the stage, but you're saying he's in the rafters of the...
he's kind of like up where
Okay.
he's positioned. He can like,
Never mind
if
then.
he turns, he can see the audience, and if he turns this way, he can see the stage.
Okay. You can see.
I was for some reason I thought he was like in like the stage rafter, so that was my misunderstanding. I'm sorry.
I thought it was more to be in the audience because you guys would be on the stage. So.
No, that totally makes sense. Yep. Okay, so there's nothing we can do about that. I will vaguely point to the other side and say like, "There's something going on over there. I can't see something not good."
Am I able to check with Toot Sweet in that
You
direction?
can certainly try. Yeah, go ahead and make a
Okay.
perception check.
Come on, Tootie.
What's that? 28.
God.
Okay. From that direction, from a top-down view 28.
Jesus, that's a really good roll.
I know it's intense.
I'm trying to like think what that perspective gives in this instance. You know what? Yeah, it's actually no. This is fine. So you're watching it happen as the show closes, like as the lights come down. Tootsweet is picking this up. Enid sees a figure in like dark clothing, cloak, like step out of the wall, just straight up, in shadow of the curtains and everything, but is like was within the wall, is now stepped out of the wall and is just kind of watching, getting close. And you can see with a 28, there's a decided like at the readiness that as the show closes and the pair ends and like there's no immediate reaction, there's like a just confused reaction, but nothing worse happens. The figure like pauses, looks around, and then steps back into the wall.
Is
At this
it
point,
on our side or not on our side? Were they also waiting for shit to hit the fan? What was happening?
at this point, as you guys have watched this performance happen, time is continuing forward. As the stage is leaving, the actors are departing. Some of the actors are passing you guys. You notice Lola exit on the other side, with hand in hand with the guy who you don't know, but the guy who was with the princess. They start just exiting the opposite side, and are just kind of hand in hand running off. And there's just a wave of nattering, just like, what the fuck happened? Who's this? That wasn't part of the show. Like everyone is like, is that good? Is that bad? Who is that guy? What is this? Like, just chatter.
Can we see the princess's face from here? Or could Tootsweet see the princess's face from where he is?
You guys would struggle to from this point. He would be able to if you want to make a perception check up there.
Do it, Al. Tamara?
That's
22.
Okay. 22. You can look directly into the box and have a good look down into the box. The three of them are still there. The McCarrans are still there, though the king is on his feet and red, furious. And he is barking orders at the various people in his employ. And he is like berating another guy. He looks like an older man, and they're fighting. Like they're fighting back and forth. He's just as red. They're actively fighting. The queen is like consoling. She's not consoling the princess. She's talking with another woman who you don't recognize. And there's like consoling is the wrong word, but like there's a reassuring. And you just see the princess, who you don't necessarily know. It's just kind of off to the side, just like looking down at the stage, just kind of staring. Difficult to read her reaction. She's kind of not doing anything.
I'm not gonna lie, this messiness is very entertaining.
This has been a crazy night.
Are lights back up on the stage now? Like lights are coming on in the audience?
Lights in the audience are on. The stage is lit up again.
Is there supposed
Is there
to be
a master of
ceremonies?
ceremonies? Yeah.
Is there a
someone's supposed to
playbill?
come and be like, thanks for your time, everybody. Bye.
Without needing an insight check, with you just using your passive and even the lowest of your passive insights, there's mass confusion in this moment. The crowd is like, what the fuck is going on? Like, some are dispersing, some are still in their seats, like waiting for something to end. There's a missing moment. There's a missing piece.
Wait, if what's his bot? If you weren't able to find him, then he's the one disguised as Lola.
I was thinking maybe that too.
He's supposed to close the show.
Should we chase after them and see where they are?
Last time we did it, it went really bad.
Actually, when we chased after him, it went great.
Okay.
Is the curtain coming down or anything? Can we go backstage again to
You can
get
go
around
backstage.
to the other side?
Yeah, you're like you guys are in the wing still, so
Go
you
around the
can
other side.
follow the backstage.
Let's
Now
go
it's just
follow
full
them.
of people. But yeah,
Or
it's
are
cool.
you snapping me out of my
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll squeeze your paw.
pants? Yeah. Oh.
We're gonna go see if we can find Lola, whoever that was.
Oh, okay.
Wait. I got a really good look at his clothing before. I can try to track him with it. Oh.
You'd have to pray to your god.
Yes, in private.
How long would it take to pray?
6 seconds.
Oh, that's a pretty quick prayer.
Given
I'll try
the
and rush us to
confusion
it.
and things,
Yeah.
you could probably do the same thing you
Just do it.
did. You're in
Right.
the wings. You're naturally like in shadow. If you just tuck down to the ground, kind of quick cast, while everyone else is really focused on the really crazy shit that just happened. It's still a stealth or a sleight of hand check to see if you can do it without anyone really noticing. But
I didn't roll as good as last time. 14.
still not as entertaining as the cool shit that just happened with all this crazy.
I'm
drama.
casting locate object.
It's on the move.
I don't know for sure if it's him or not, but I said specifically before that I got a good look at his clothes.
What's the range?
It is within 1,000 feet of you.
Pretty good.
You can definitely sense it, but you can definitely sense it is on the move.
It's going away. Opposite direction of us, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Lead us to him. Let's go track him.
I'm trying.
You guys start following and with perfect tracking with the aid of locate object. Very quickly find your way, repeating the steps taken previously up to the second floor, onto the familiar hallway. And at the end, you see a familiar office, the headmaster's office. You're at the door. The door is... I'm going to roll again. The door is ever so slightly ajar.
Who has the best perception? Enid's been killing it all night.
My perception is +9.
Yeah, she's the best.
Jesus Christ.
are you trying to
Twitsweet's gone.
Anyone talking inside, maybe?
Do you want me to
Perception,
proceed?
yeah, if you want to make a perception to see if you can hear anything before bursting in.
I don't know if first I was gonna.
Okay. That is a 23.
Okay. You can hear there is some there's discussion, there's quiet, but you can't pick up words specifically. Nobody's yelling, nobody's shouting, nobody's fighting. But you can hear there's at least two voices, one feminine, one masculine, in the room. Andy, your locate object is giving you 25 feet in front of you at best. It's in this room.
Definitely him. But in a quieter whisper than that.
Let's go see about enrolling.
And I'm going to open the door.
You open the door to the two people standing in kind of still somewhat embraced, having chatting to one another in a lovey-dovey, we're gonna make out, maybe fuck on this table kind of way. To which you see Lola and this guy who you don't know. He looks very confused. She turns and looks angry, a little confused, and then angry.
Lola, bravo. What a good performance.
Thanks. A little privacy would be nice.
Is this your office? We were looking for Eldros.
He's not here. He's
Oh.
elsewhere.
That's too bad. We wanted to return him this.
And I'll take out the sewing needle.
Weird. Good luck finding him, I guess.
How much? Oh god, my insight's terrible. Who's lying? Is it her or is it him?
Make an insight check.
Who's your thing pointing to?
It's Eldros's clothes, yeah, but they're right on top of each other. I rolled a 17 on the dice, so 16.
I don't know how accurate
Specific.
it would get if
Yeah.
it says in there like that.
I will check.
Give you more information. Difficult to tell whether this person is lying or not.
It just says the direct. It doesn't say like it's like a perfect little outline. All it says
The
is
fact that the pair of them are embraced
Yeah, exactly.
is going to make it a little bit difficult. But there's a moment, too difficult to tell.
Yeah.
Lola, and then this guy is like, I'm sorry. We're in the middle of something here. Maybe you could return whatever it is you have later.
Hey, weren't you with the princess earlier?
That was, yeah. What does that matter to you? Who are you? Who are you people? Who are these people? She just said, they're fans. Look, thank you for coming to the show. I can sign something for you maybe a little later.
I'm going to take a step forward into the room, moving towards her.
I would honestly just love if you signed something now.
And can try and reach out and touch her.
The guy is going to try and stop you from touching her. Like he's going to reach out and like put himself between you, very like kind of aggressive. How much, like as he makes that move, would you still try to push forward?
I'm going to try and dipsy doodle around him.
Go ahead and make an acrobatics check versus his athletics. That's pretty good.
16.
He rolled an 18.
I use my
He's a
little
pretty
rabbit
big
feet.
guy, not like crazy, but compared to you, like he's 6'2". He's you're allowed to. It's not a dexterity save.
Okay, then never mind.
He's not like being super aggressive, but he fully blocks you touching her. It's like, hey, get the fuck out of here. Like at that point.
Yeah, I don't know how much we're gonna accomplish here. I will.
Justice, as you get close, though, there is, to your senses, something very different. Lola is not wearing Lola's perfume, but smells much more like Eldros when you last encountered him. Very specific, earthy, but not like a musty or moldy, but like a crisp fall, beautiful kind of day scent that just lingers.
What about if he's like blocking me, I'll like just kind of stare past him, looking at Lola. But if I look up into this man's face, any hint of him being charmed or compelled, like a dullness to the eyes or anything like that?
Make an Arcana check.
3, just straight 3.
Beats you. Yeah, no clue.
Tough to say.
It could be magic, could be love.
Sometimes it's both.
At this point, if you're still there, Buddy's gonna like grab and push you.
What are you kids doing? I don't want to dominate this whole thing.
I'm just concentrating on my spell. I'm just trying to make sure that like this only lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah, if he's gonna try and grab and push Augie, I'll just be like, whoa, hey! What are you getting handsy for?
Well, I mean, you guys won't leave us alone? Like, you're kind of intruding, trespassing? I don't know how many things we gotta get down here, but like, this is a little much. How about everybody just get the fuck out of here before we call the guards?
I have a dumb idea, but I'm just going to wait 2 seconds to see if you guys are going to do anything.
I'm in retreat and pay attention later mode, but I'm going to see what everyone else is going to do.
I'm also
crane,
waiting
just-
to see.
I have no weapons, so I'm not gonna.
That's the thing.
Well, also, like, I don't know how much you want to get in a fight with this dude.
Yeah.
Either dude.
What is Andy and Crane? What's your passive perception?
Shit. 12.
16.
Nice.
Okay, a 16 I still beat a 16. You guys don't quite notice, and maybe you noticed, Decrane, you noticed too late. A presence rushes past you in a flurry of dark cloth, and a basically smoke bomb bursts in the middle of Augustus, Lola, and this unnamed strapping gentleman as a black cloaked individual leaps into the room, bursting kind of up out of nothing, and strikes Lola across the face. And we will pick up there next time.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty cool.
Oh.
And then
Like,
Batman jumps in.
I was waiting for you guys to like do something. This guy's been just like following this shit. Waiting. Fuck it, I gotta do something. This took too long.
You know, it's funny. I was gonna fog cloud. I was gonna be like, "Fuck it, fog cloud," and I'm gonna punch this chick, or like just try and grab her and see if I can get something. I can't leave this guy. He's gonna get his like soul threaded away or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
That was a really fun one.